This is not your average interior design 101 video. There won't be anything in this video about rug orientation or colors and patterns or warm lighting or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, all of that stuff absolutely makes a difference, but it's over talked about and it's not the kind of big picture stuff that will take your home from good enough to being exactly what you need it to be. If you're new here, my name is Medora. I use they, them pronouns, and I make videos about home design for girls, gays, and theys. So, to get into my list, number 1. This first tip is not sexy by any means, but it's probably the most important. So if you get nothing else from this video, safety first. Nothing about interior design is worth dying or getting injured for. And I feel like culturally, we don't think of interior design as something that's dangerous, which honestly just makes it even more dangerous. Having a beautiful home that's functional and inspiring, that makes you happy, is meant to add to your life, not take away from it. If you're using power tools to DIY or hang something up, wear safety glasses and a dust mask and closed-toed shoes and go slow and be aware of your surroundings. If you're standing up on a ladder to switch out a light fixture or hang curtains or something like that, have someone spotting you if possible, and do not reach outside of your center of gravity. Apparently, most injuries happen on normal 6-foot ladders as opposed to taller ladders, because when you're on a taller ladder, you're more aware of the danger, so you're being more careful. But when you're on a shorter ladder, you get cocky and assume that you're safe because you're closer to the ground. And that is not true. This exact thing happened to Kelsey from Sorry Girls, where she fell off of a ladder just a few feet from the ground and got a concussion. Yeah, sure, shit happens sometimes, but it happens even more so when you aren't paying attention to your body and your surroundings. If you're picking up a large, heavy piece of furniture off of Craigslist or something, bring enough people that you can actually reasonably move it. Use clear, concise communication if you have to move it downstairs or through tight spaces. Wear sturdy, stable, closed-toed shoes or boots, and bring work gloves, furniture moving straps, and ratchet straps if you'll be putting it in the bed of a truck or a trailer. I have seen far too many couch cushions on the side of the highway because they weren't strapped down or put in the cab of the truck. And that could very easily cause an accident for other people on the road. If you're dumpster diving, which is a great way to get free stuff, especially if you go to college campuses at the end of the school year when they get out for the summer, make sure to, again, wear sturdy, closed-toed shoes, thick pants, long sleeves, a mask, and make sure you've had your tetanus shot. Even when you don't think you're in any danger, just practice being aware of your surroundings and noticing how your body fits into and moves throughout and interacts with the space around it. Once, me and my partner at the time were walking out of a thrift store and back to the car, and they were kind of just walking and not really paying attention, and they tripped over the curb and sprained their ankle. And it still acts up from time to time to this day, many years later. Now, obviously that's not design specific, it was just a curb, but that's kind of the point. You don't need to be paranoid that bad things could happen to you, but it is useful to practice being aware. So, moral of the story, know your context, understand your surroundings, be aware of any potential danger you might be getting yourself into, and prepare accordingly. No need to be paranoid, just aware. Number 2, trust your gut. This definitely applies to safety like we just talked about, but it also applies to the choices you'll be making around styling and organizing and how your home impacts your lifestyle and vice versa. This one has really been the hardest for me personally because I find that when people say trust your gut, what they really mean is trust yourself, which is a lot scarier to me. If you're anything like me, you probably grew up in an environment where the adults in your life didn't fully trust you. And just because of how we've decided to structure society in a way that doesn't actually care for anyone's well-being, no thanks to imperialist settler colonialism, you probably weren't encouraged to trust yourself or to even get to know yourself. One of the things I love most about interior design is that it's a way of practicing getting to know myself, learning to trust myself, and remembering that yeah, actually, I do have opinions about things and that I'm allowed to think critically about what I want in my life. And this applies to choosing furniture as much as it does to people and jobs and politicians and mindsets and stuff like that. Number 3, figure out what you want your daily life to look like and what you value long term, and start to build your home around those things. If one of your top values is having agency over the foods that we put into our bodies, whether for health reasons or just philosophical reasons, and if you enjoy canning your own food as a way of showing care for loved ones, you might want to dedicate some substantial space to a pantry and storing extra canning supplies, for example. If you value your home being the go-to community hangout spot for your friends and family, you might want to prioritize finding a home with a big big L-shaped kitchen that's big enough for an island that's also attached to an open concept dining room and living room. If you value incorporating more movement into your life to keep both your body and your brain healthy as you get older, consider looking into the furniture-free movement and traditional floor sleeping and getting a sit-stand desk and rings or bars for dead hanging, or maybe even consider a dramatic lifestyle change by living off-grid and chopping your own wood and hauling your own water. The sheer amount of different ways that you can incorporate your values into your daily life is endless. So find something that works for you right now, even if you're not like reality shifting into your highest timeline or whatever. Do what you can for now, and the rest will follow. Number 4, always have a list of things that you're currently looking for on your person whenever you leave the house. And specifically include dimensions for the space that it'll go in, and also ideal dimensions for the thing itself. I personally keep this list in the shopping section of my Notion, which, not sponsored, but it is a very helpful and also free resource. So I will link that below. And I love this because I can then access it while I'm out and about on my phone, and then I can also access it from my computer when I'm at home designing a space on my computer. But just use whatever makes sense to you, whether that's the Notes app in your phone or a physical pencil and paper. And then what will make this a lot easier is to also keep a mini measuring tape on you at all times. My roommate keeps one in their pocket, and I keep one in my bag that I always have with me whenever I leave the house. And I'll link this one down below. Number 5, know your limits and do some discernment about how much home design is enough for where you're at in your life right now. It can be so easy to get caught up in wanting to constantly change things up and do dramatic transformations and pick up fun new things from the thrift store just because they're cute, and it'll give you an excuse to restyle that one vignette that like is 95% but like not quite 100%. But like, at what point are you satisfied with what you have? Is it actually about just having fun with the process of creative expression, or will you never be fully satisfied? And if so, why is that? Maybe that's something to explore with your therapist or a journal. Just maybe. Number 6, finding forever pieces is good and all, but ultimately, stuff is just stuff, and things will come in and out of your life. Sometimes things will break. Sometimes you'll want to paint or reupholster something. Maybe you genuinely loved something at one point in your life, but now it doesn't really make sense. Or that love has faded into tolerance or even disdain. Not to get too metaphysical, but embrace change because it is the only constant in the universe. While there are so many highly incentivized ways of swapping out furniture and decor that are terrible for the planet, there's nothing inherently morally wrong or bad about changing up your furniture and decor from time to time. It's just a matter of how you're approaching it. If you're switching up something big in your home every month or two because you feel like you need to be on top of the latest trends like all of the influencers who, like, spoiler alert, they've literally made it part of their job description to switch up their home decor because it makes them money, that ultimately isn't going to be very sustainable long term for both your mental health and your wallet, and obviously the planet. But if you know very specifically what you're looking for, and you have a regular practice of going thrifting just to see if you can find what you're looking for, and if you have good impulse control to not automatically buy things just because they're pretty, to me, that sounds like a healthy way of swapping things out. As much as we've been brainwashed to think otherwise, what with all the perfectly styled photos of professionally designed homes on budgets that are 10 times my annual income, it really is so much more about the journey than the destination. And to kind of contradict myself is number 7. As much as I promote knowing very precisely what you're looking for, putting it on a list, and not compromising, it's also important to leave space for things to find you, and maybe even things you never would have considered. Personally, I think there's a certain beauty to being open to what the universe has in store for you, because sometimes it's better than what you originally wanted. For example, when I was making a mood board for my current bedroom, I literally created my own version of this bed frame slash headboard situation out of thin air. I figured it wouldn't be too hard to get a piece of plywood, cut it out, put some edge banding on it, and stain it. But then I found this bed frame on Craigslist for free that perfectly matched my mood board, except it was vintage and already constructed, and it was the entire bed frame, not just the headboard. Plus, it has this beautiful matched effect on the wood, which I wouldn't have gotten from just a sheet of plywood. So yeah, know what you want, but also keep an open mind. If you have any other underrated design tips, make sure to leave them down in the comments below so that we can all learn from each other. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all the YouTubey things to tell the algorithm to show you more of my videos. If you'd like to help keep a roof over my head or get live design support directly from me, go to patreon.com/medorakia. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, go to medorakia.com. Bye.